Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. Okay, what do we have for you on today's episode? Let me tell you something. I'm shocked. It doesn't often happen, especially as with the radical left, you kind of understand what trajectory they're going in, so you can kind of predict what they're going to do. But over the last week or so, things have took a turn that even I didn't suspect. The Democrats are at the point now where they are now weaponizing the United States military along political lines against their enemies. First, we saw them calling out Tucker Carlson. Before that, even, we saw the Republican and Trump supporting members of the National Guard weeded out so that you had just the people who are loyal to the Democrats kind of around the Capitol buildings and so. Now we have Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a Republican representative, as I'm sure you're aware. She made a statement that involved a line in which she said that Guam, which is the United States overseas territory, was a foreign land. Now, that could be interpreted in a number of ways. It is, of course, part of the United States. However, the representative for Guam, decided to use some of the National Guardsmen stationed in the capital, those from Guam, and he marched them over to Marjorie Taylor Greene's office, ostensibly on the face of it, to hand out cookies. But you don't need to bring an entire squad of military personnel to hand out cookies. No, what this is, it's a veiled threat, right? It's a veiled threat. They brought cookies, but there's a message behind that, okay? This Democrat representative, brought military personnel to the office of a political opponent to issue a veiled threat. Imagine if it was the other way around. Imagine if a Republican did that. You know what the response would be, and so do I, but because it's a Democrat, as always, they get away with it. Every single time. Not a murmur is raised from the mainstream media, who are the propaganda arm for the Democrat Party. So let's get into this clip, because I'm going to show you the clip. If you haven't yet though, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell and share this around. Let's get this seen, because really, the way America's heading should worry people. And although the finger's always pointed at Republicans and Donald Trump in particular, the people who are causing this issue and causing the United States to crumble aren't on the right, aren't Republicans, they're Democrats. Anyway, let's take a look at this clip. Okay, so it is Guam Congressman San Nicolas who escorts the Guam National Guard to pay a visit to Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is the Hill reporting, by the way, so it's got dramatic sound covering over it to try to manipulate you emotionally, to make you feel like these guys are the victims. So there's the tray of cookies, look. So it's a veiled threat. You don't need a squad of National Guard personnel to hand out cookies. And why would you hand out cookies to Marjorie Taylor Greene anyway? You don't like her. It's a veiled threat.
Hey, how's it going? I have my congressman from Guam here. One of those visit. Yes, the representative of the Philippines. Just wanted to stop by. Thank you.
So they had the Marjorie Taylor Greene's team had no idea they were coming. The guy at the doors only mentioned the congressman. He said nothing about the National Guard. What they were hoping for, Marjorie Taylor Greene to be there. She's not there. She was out on business. And then to come out and suddenly see all of these National Guard men. The National Guard people that he didn't mention were there. It's a veiled threat. It's an intimidation tactic. They wanted to intimidate Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now imagine if the Republicans did that to Nancy Pelosi or anyone. Pick any Democrat representative.
Thank you, sir.
How y'all doing? Sure, so I would assume she'll be back in about 15-20 minutes.
Okay.
If you guys want to circle back.
Do you know how long she'll be back here after when she returns? Because we are also making some deliveries to leadership in Capitol.
So I can't speak to that. I think we're about to start the new round of votes.
Right.
We're about to start the new round of votes and stuff. So can we just text your scheduler or email your scheduler? Just
You can text me. Can
you give me your number?
Yeah.
I can give you my card or whatever.
I also have my Guam guardsmen that are out here on the deployment. They wanted to come over and say hello too.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm sure they wanted to come and say hello. So now he mentions he also has the guardsmen. I'm sure they wanted to say hello. An entire squad of personnel. It's like, imagine if Marjorie Taylor Greene. Imagine if she turned up with a load of redneck personnel, military personnel from her state, and she turned up at the office of AOC, for example. Imagine how that would be written up.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sorry that you guys missed her. She's literally in an interview. She's coming back to the hill. We'd love to invite you guys to see her.
Yeah, I think it'll be really great.
Absolutely. But thank you so much for coming by. Where is y'all's office?
We are actually the same building, sixth floor.
Okay, sixth floor. Okay.
1632.
Love it, love it.
I'm sorry, your name again?
Taylor.
Taylor, you want to come on and say hi? Just
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
So guys, Congresswoman Greene will probably be coming back in 20 minutes and we'll probably circle back. This is Taylor, her legislative director. She just wanted to come on and say hi.
Hi guys. Hey, thank you guys so much for all that you do. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys.
So they've now got a member of Marjorie Taylor Greene's office to thank them for political intimidation. He's thanking them. The Democrats are literally peeing on his head, and he's thanking them for it. Remember, this all started after Marjorie Taylor Greene described Guam as a foreign land. That's the word she used. Could have she worded it differently? Probably. It is an overseas territory of the United States. I suppose that could or could not be defined as a foreign land, depending on which way you see things. But the response from the representative from Guam was to bring an entire squad from the National Guard that were stationed in DC, that were brought there from Guam on orders of the Democrats, to go and pay a visit to her office. And this is following on the heels of prominent conservative personalities, for example, like Tucker Carlson, being called out by various people in the military. And of course, this comes after the Democrat purge in the wake of the events on January the 6th. One party in United States politics is using the military as a wing of their party, as first of all a propaganda arm, and secondly as an intimidation tool. Do you know where this heads? Do you know where it goes? Because if you don't, you've only got to read a history book from the early 20th century. You will find out where it goes once the military is used by an arm of government who are hell-bent on power. They don't care about your lives. This is the Democrats. They have no care in the world about you. But they're willing to use everything and anything to hold on to their power. And now you have him thanking them Now look, I know that military personnel should be thanked for their service. I thank them for their service. But it doesn't mean it should be something that they can hold over you in every single situation, no matter what that situation may be. If you get an entire squad of National Guardsmen turning up at your office because you said something about the territory that they belong to, whether that was right or wrong, and it's supposedly okay because they're handing out cookies. Why would you hand out cookies? It's a veiled threat. It's not an overt threat, it's a veiled threat. It's, look at us all, we're here, what are you going to do about it? We're in your face, you said this about Guam, we're from Guam, what are you going to do about it? And it's more worrying because the Democrats don't seem to have any leash on their, not only their rhetoric of course, but their actions. There never seems to be anything that's going too far for the Democrats. And the reason why is because they know they're never going to be called out on it by the mainstream media. A Republican can't walk 2 yards down the corridor without being called out by the mainstream media. Democrats can literally weaponize and politicize the National Guard and use them to intimidate their political rivals right outside their office door. And there's not a murmur. Not a murmur. Now I appreciate if some of you guys probably think, well look, it's just them handing out cookies. If you want that opinion, that's fine. I wholeheartedly stand by your right to have that opinion. But if you don't want to take my word for it, look up what caused this. The statement that Marjorie Taylor Greene made, whether she was right in saying it or not. And you'll understand that it's a veiled threat. It's a veiled threat. The cookies are the veil. The guardsmen are the threat. I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you haven't yet, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell and share this video around. That'll help me stay competitive with the likes of CNN, MSNBC and the like. We are shadow banned at the moment, so I would love it if you guys could share this video around. And I'll leave you with one more thing. Remember when I did the video in what happened in regards to January the 6th and the National Guardsmen from Puerto Rico were mentioning Proud Boys and Enrique Tarrio by name? Where do you think they got that from? So they were targeting these right-wing groups. They were on the lookout for these right-wing groups. The National Guard has been weaponized and politicized against conservatives. It doesn't end, the road that the United States is going down does not end well. The only way it can be averted is if people stop giving their votes to the Democrats. That's my opinion. You can take it for what it is. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.